I just want to say before the video starts to make sure to hit that subscribe button. I am actually losing subscribers every day as I am transitioning over into Storybook Brawl content. So if you like what you see, if you want to see more, leave a like and hit that subscribe button and enjoy. What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, and today we are going to look at my second tournament game where I got second in the Storybook Brawl Open League Qualifier. This qualifier consisted of 10 games with about 100 competitors, and I was able to get 16th through my performance. So I'm going to be going over those games and uploading one to my YouTube channel every day over the course of this week. The first one was uploaded yesterday, so check that game out if you haven't already. But now we're on to game 2, and we are starting with my favorite hero, Waddle. He's a lot of people's favorite hero, and yeah, we'll see what I am able to do with good old Waddle here. I don't really remember this game. All of the games kind of blend together, so I'm not exactly sure what happened. But there we go, another Billy Goat from one of my opponents there. And we see three different animals in this shop, two of which I really want to pick up. I believe I'm going to play Wizard's Familiar and do the Witch's Brew here because it will be a 2-2, and then I will probably lock the 3 blind mice. That's what I would probably do in most scenarios, and certainly locking the 3 blind mice. The only question was if you grab the Wizard's Familiar or not, but I do think that one of the strengths of Waddle is being able to upgrade Wizard's Familiar so early in the game. If you do that, you're basically like playing Gwen, and then you still have a hero power. It's like Gwen used her knighthood and then still has a hero power beyond that. Does look like we're going to be competing for Wizard's Familiars against somebody else here, but that is no matter. So I think in this scenario, this is kind of interesting. Genie's Wish is pretty good to give the Wizard's Familiar +2, but I think what I'm going to do is grab this. If the treasures don't have the word treasure on them, I'm going to skip, and then I'm going to buy the 3 blind mice. And I did this basically just so that I could give +1/+1 and increase the ability of my sleigh, because I do really want the 3 blind mice here. Looks like I am going to excuse me. Looks like I am going to decide to lock for this Genie's Wish, though, because that will give my Wizard's Familiar +2/+2. And I guess I decided that that was good enough for me. This one looks like it might be tricky. Oh, okay, I got the Sherwood Sure Shot, so that's great. I got the sleigh, and because I was able to attack the Sherwood Sure Shot, that means I'm not going to take additional damage here. So I've got a bunch of extra health, and we see a Spellweaver already. Looks like I am going to greed out and grab this Spellweaver and then go Genie's Wish, and I get bonus XP. So now, as long as I win this battle, I will get even more XP. But even if I don't win this battle, I already just got an XP for one coin. And I didn't really even pay for that because I was buying it specifically for the stats on my other minions. But the fact that we turned that into some XP, and now we get to play against Skip, so that probably means that we are going to win this battle too. I think things are looking pretty good for us here. And I think the Spellweaver pickup was potentially like an interesting choice by, or some people would consider that an interesting choice, but it seemed like we were well set up for it. So looks like Skip does not have any minions at all. They sold a bunch of things so that they could cast this spell on their other things, but unfortunately we're not going to win the battle. We're going to tie, and Joust will round up playing it pretty well because they are going to walk away from this battle with a tier 4 treasure. We've got a free Billy Goat here, so might as well pick it up, see what that brings us. And assuming, yeah, we don't, I could see taking the Ring of Regeneration here, actually. Yeah, we don't really need the gold necessarily this turn, so I do think the Ring of Regeneration is pretty good. We'll hang on to that for a bit. I don't always love Ring of Regen as Wonder Waddle because you're able to churn through so many treasures this early in the game that sometimes it just means that you won't have any use for said treasures. So because there's an XP here, it looks like I am interested in locking, and then I assume I'm going to be picking up the Lucky, which is a double for us, and the Pig, which is essentially a double because because it's a tier 3 animal, which Wonder Waddle's hero power works with. I'm very curious because we've got a lot of ways to generate gold in this current board. So that is pretty funny. We've got double Luckies. We've got a Kitty Cut Purse. This combat is looking really terrible for us, though. The RNG is just not going in our favor. We will get the Kitty to get in there. But then we are going to trade with the Pig. So we're going to take 7 damage here, but we're going to be gaining some health thanks to the Ring of Regeneration. And we still did gain a little bit of gold this turn because the Kitty was able to slay. So where do I want to go from here? Honestly, even though we're level 4, I think that we've still got some good treasure hits on the board, like Prized Pig, and we could potentially lock this Donkey as well if we wanted to. And Crystal Ball, that's going to be an easy pickup when we are Wonder Waddle, because we're looking for Crystal Ball, we're looking for Merlin's Hat, and we're going to see what we can make out of them. Experience isn't always the best on Wonder Waddle because, like, technically I should be level 3 right now, which means that I should just be... I should only be seeing level 2 and 3 characters in the shop, but when I got that first experience for free, I kind of changed my course with Wonder Waddle, and I do think it's important to realize that Wonder Waddle is powerful, but it's also very flexible, and you don't necessarily have to pigeonhole yourself into specific strategies. That is some foreshadowing potentially for some future games in this tournament where I do pigeonhole myself into some specific strategies, and we'll see how that works or doesn't work out for us. The Spellweaver has a decent amount of attack on it, and we're 50-50, and we do get a Slay, so doing pretty good for that with all things considered. Now we just have to connect on this Shadow Assassin before it tears through my team, and we are able to do so. So that is going to leave us with a Slay, a Prized Pig, and a combat win, plus 2 Luckies, both of which hit the Soul Tack Ancient, so I get to pick that up for free. I now get to floop my Pig with Crystal Ball and the Heart there, though Princess P is definitely not super exciting. I'm going to cast a few more spells as I seize them, and we are going to hopefully find some more upgrades. The reason that I like to TLK my Pig in that scenario is because the sooner you TLK the Pig, the sooner you get those prized pigs back into the pool, which is really good because that means you can roll into them again. There we go. I honestly did not know that was coming. But it is sweet. So I do have to make some decisions here. Oh, I'm going to be able to flip the princess into Bearded Vulture. That is actually really good. So then I decide that I'm just going to play some animals to make Bearded Vulture work. I really want to at least pick up one of these stags here. I maybe could have just cast Eeny Meeny rather than selling some stuff. But I am going to actually go ahead and grab both of these stags just real quick, and I think I can do that because the Vulture is actually just strong enough, and then I'm going to skip and cast the Eeny Meeny at the last second and put in the Friendly Spirit, and then I frontline the Pig because I want to make sure that the Pig dies for the Vulture before the Vulture has to get into combat. This also allows the Stag to bump the Friendly Spirit, so that was a lot of really fast thinking on my part, and it doesn't look like it's really going to matter as I am just going to blow Krampus out of the water here. A lot of these lobbies, I did not mention, but a lot of these lobbies had one bot, just as far as balancing purposes, trying to keep everybody on a even playing field throughout the course of the tournament. that was the easiest thing to do with no-shows and drops and things like that as the tournament progressed. So for the first half of the tournament, these like first 5 games, I think there is one bot in every lobby. And then I believe for the second half of the tournament, that disappears. Moonsong Horn plus Crystal Ball is not typically the way that you are looking to draw it up as Wonder Waddle, but you'll take it with these blind mice. So now I have to decide if I want to sell the blind mice to put those back in the pool, if I want to pick up any of these animal things here to make use of with my bearded vulture, but I am just going to cast the Genie's Wish here. Okay, I figured if I'm casting the Genie's Wish, that probably means it's because I want to pick up, like, Baby Bear, and I could honestly see picking up the Sheep in Wolf's Clothing by selling off the Billy and the 3 blind mice, and then I pick up the Sheep in Wolf's Clothing. So now I've got a really big bearded vulture, and that is hopefully going to be able to carry me into some future combats. Also think that the stag is going to be pretty good. It is a little bit awkward to backline a friendly spirit always because it might not die in time, at which point the buff that you've put on it becomes a little bit awkward. Looks like the Toil and Trouble is going to go on the Spellweaver and the Stag, which is great. That's going to allow the Stag to survive through some of my opponent's early hits, though they didn't attack it yet. And luckily, we actually kill the Siren, so this is really great combat RNG for us. Yeah, like I said, I don't think that this friendly spirit is going to wind up dying against my opponent's battlefield, though it could if the witch attacks it here. No. Okay, we're just going to take my opponent out. The friendly spirit didn't really matter. It was just a 5/5, but you know what? Just a 5/5 is good enough. Now we're going to start casting some spells. Grab these stone skins here because my spells are a little bit cheaper. And what we really, really want is a pig. Wow. Okay, so really good luck here on that side of things. Going to take a Merlin's hat. I do debate the treasure map, but Merlin's hat is just fantastic here. Now we've got Hat, Ball, Horn, and that is going to allow us to really pop off. I do have to decide if I want to try to cast some spells on these friendly spirits because they can take a spell pretty well. You're basically getting double duty for any spell that you cast on them. So do I want another friendly spirit? Those do seem like they could cast a spell, but I don't think I want another one. I do think, though, that I want an Aeon. So the question is, am I going to sell the pig and the sheep in wolf's clothing here? Yeah, I'm going to sell 2 minions, and part of the reason I do that in this combat, or in this shop, is because then I can also just Genie's Wish after, and that is pretty clean. So I'm definitely going to want to commit my board to making a little bit more mages. I switch the position of my Spellweaver and my Aeon, so that way Aeon can get the Great Sable Stag buff, or it's not called Great Sable Stag. What's it called? It's just called Stag. I'll just call it Stag. Maybe it is called Great Sable Stag. I think that's a magic card, though. But so that way it can get the Stag buff, and that way it can potentially do some more work here. I quickly mouse over just to show it's going to be a Bearded Vulture matchup, but I've got an upgraded Bearded Vulture, so I'm feeling pretty confident about this one. We do get the Slay, so our spells are going to cost 4 less in the next shop, and the Bearded Vulture didn't even take any damage until the end there as we take out Zazie. And I think I might consider this Court Wizard here. That's going to be another mage for us. So looks like I am going to pick that one up. And when I do, I also pick up a Cinderella because it is a mage and because it is a prince or princess. So that will work with Court Wizard. Have to decide if I want to get a second Aeon here. That's a little trickier. I could sell the Baby Bear and the Vulture, or the Baby Bear and the Stag, put in the Court Wizard, put in the Aeon, and then just cast this Fireball. I think that I should. I just have to decide what to sell. And if I'm going to sell the Baby Bear, I might as well sell the Vulture. But I think that's me speaking with hindsight. I think that I am saying that now because I remember making that mistake then. Oh, I sell the Vulture too. Okay, that's really interesting. Or not the Vulture. the friendly spirit. That's pretty interesting, but I just want to get a bunch of mages to pump up here. And yeah, you can see keeping the baby bear and the vulture, that's going to be power for a turn, but I do think in hindsight it would have been more powerful to go about this the other way, but we'll see what happens. So 4 damage to everything on my board. That's going to take out the court wizard, and then my opponent is going to take out both of my Aeons. I do think Vulture is going to be a lot of help for us right now. So honestly, maybe wasn't the worst thing in the world. Yeah, it looks like Vulture is going to be able to clean up pretty nicely here. So, you know, maybe that was the right decision. But I feel like I remembered thinking that it was a little bit weird at the time. But what have you, we're here now. So probably should be picking up that chicken, but no matter. Now that I'm taking the Storm King, I certainly don't need the baby bear and the vulture shenanigans going on. And I have to decide if I want to just settle for this spell, and I think I might, even though it doesn't really do anything for us. I think I'm looking at locking for this Aeon here. That will just allow us to scale incredibly and do some powerful things. So I should probably lock this shop and pick up the chicken. So it looks like, oh no, I'm going to put the baby bear back in. Okay, I just want the tempo of it. That second Aeon isn't really that strong. Okay, I can respect this. Just get a little bit more in. There's another play here by, like I said, putting in the Cinderella, because that will trigger the court wizard, though it's certainly not that strong. Skip is also going to be level 6, so we'll see what Skip is able to assemble here. We also gave Skip that level 4 treasure pretty early on, so we'll see what they came up with. They took a Sky Castle from that, and then they have some other things here. Or maybe that Sky Castle came later. I don't know. Sky Castle seems kind of out of place. They probably just took it to give 4 to their Nutcracker. But with an Ambrosiaed Echo Wood, this is going to be a tough one. I don't think that we are going to win this battle or really have any shot. And we're going to take a ton of damage. We're going to take 19 damage, half of our health total. But we're going to live to see the day. And then we find a level 5 treasure, and it's Mimic. I think Mimic works wonderfully with Merlin's Hat and Crystal Ball. I do debate the fact that I could just toss the hat, because Mimic Horn kind of works as a hat. But I think that this is good enough here. So I do want to take up the chickens, because when you're Wonder Waddle, those actually provide econ. And then I just want to be rolling past everything else. Though here, yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good spell. I should just sell the Bearded Vulture and one of these other things. And Knighthood on this Storm King, that's going to give it a huge buff. And I can actually keep going. I can True Love's Kiss on the Cinderella or on the Baby Bear. I think either of those are fine options. Looks like I am going to go on the Baby Bear to grab a level 6 minion for free, and then I'm going to Dream. I've got perfect treasures, so I'm going to go ahead and Dream, and my options here are Celestial Tiger for even more powerful treasures, or Grandmother. At this point in the game, Grandmother does give you an additional 10 health, and will give all of my creatures +3/+3. So that puts me up to 26 health. So we'll see how useful that is. My opponent Medusas my princess and kills my court wizard with sarcophagus triggers. So we are not going to be making use of court wizard, but I think we're just going to be getting by on this battle with this huge Storm King, and that is going to be enough to take Zaphod out of this one and move us on to the top 4 as technically the lobby leader. We're going to give Skip a little bit of a reprieve here, as we are going to take the time to cast some spells. I'm not exactly sure where these spells should go, but I'm basically thinking if I play anything like Sarcophagus again, I want to be able to avoid the scams on some of my backline stuff. Really don't need to be considering this dragon here either. It's cute, but I think that my board is just powerful enough with other things, but then we kind of do get, now we have more room on the board, so maybe we would be looking for some dragon action. So there we go. Should just be casting the... Okay, I'm going to pick up a new thing from the shop here. Yeah, this is fine. I'm going to Polywoggle and then TLK this for a free level 6, but I don't really think I'm making... Oh, actually, yeah, I can make use of a monster book because and I should even switch the pumpkin and the croc. That would even be a little bit better. I'm going to cast a few spells on the dragon. Now I can sell the chicken and upgrade either the pumpkin or the dragon. Let's just go for the dragon. That'll give it plus 10 health. And then I go for an eeny meeny, just grab a free Arthur. But like I said, I should switch the croc and the pumpkin, and then potentially switch the pumpkin with the court wizard. And that would give us a few more pumpkin triggers. Might not really wind up mattering, but that would have summoned a Storm King, and then when the croc dies, that would have summoned a bunch of things. So, potentially a little bit of a mistake there, but I don't think it's going to matter too much because we still have a surprise Storm King waiting in the wings for my opponent, and here it comes, 140. So, yeah, you never know what's going to be inside that croc, and turns out it's a big Storm King. The reason that I croc an upgraded Storm King especially is because that puts more Storm Kings into the pool and just increases the chances that I will be able to roll into them. So we're going to keep rolling through these shops and trying to just do as much as we can, and we've got quite the finals on us. I don't know. I mean, we could win. My opponent is really, really powerful. This is basically where I wanted to get to, but Skip has just had a bunch of time to find really good level 6s. Okay, I'm thinking Medusa might be better than Pumpkin in terms of allowing me to scam some stuff in interesting ways. Yeah, let's throw some more health on the Spellweaver, just so that way that doesn't get taken from us unfairly. That all seems fine to do. And another Medusa. Yeah, don't think I'm going to go for that. Merlin's Test, try to put as many things on this dragon as possible. Don't really have a need for that, but I cast it just because it is a spell, and then I'm going to go for a smite. But let's see, do I wind up putting this Medusa in here? I never wind up switching the pumpkin in or out either. Nor do I change the dragon. I'm not sure if any of these things were huge mistakes or deal breakers or anything. We're going to get our Wizard's Familiar turned, and then Pumpkin is going to go ahead and summon two not very powerful things, but I don't know, maybe we get a powerful spell here. Let's see. No, just a little bit of bonus attack. Spellweaver and Storm King are really going to be what has to carry us here on this battle, and we need Baba Yaga to not kill our Spellweaver, which it does. So let's see. Echowood can kill the... Yeah, that was the worst hit for Echowood. I take 3 more damage. It's going to be really tough. It's going to be really tough to clear this backline for my opponent, and I definitely still have some things to figure out. Yeah, I don't think I should be going for that Court Wizard here. I do think I really want Pigomorph, but if I take it this early, then I'm basically not making use of my Hat Ball for the entire turn. I do decide that it is good enough to take here, and then let's see, do I wind up actually working in any of these Medusas? I think I should. I think that they are better than, like, the dragon, for instance. Okay, I'm going to put Pumpkin last, and I'm going to backline 2 Medusas. Okay, I think I just sold that unit just to give myself some extra room on the bench. But our backline's going to be Medusa, Medusa, Pumpkin, and oh, I'm also looking at a Rotten Apple Tree. Yeah, okay, we can bench the other thing, but we're just going full scam here. And now I've got to decide if I want to lock Pumpkin plus a decent spell. Honestly, I think it could have been fine to do so, but I decide against it. So let's see, have I made my board strong enough? We do scam the Echowood. That is a really good start. And then my opponent did hit us with a fog, so I guess it's good that we cut a bunch of our ranged units here. And let's see, we're going to soak up a bunch of damage, but unfortunately the Applewood is going to attack. We did take out a bunch of my opponent's stuff, though, and we actually successfully scammed them. So this is good. Yeah, as long as I think regardless of how this works here, my opponent only has one minion. So yeah, we should definitely be able to get through this one, and we are going to be able to. We're even gonna let Medusa get a little +1/+1 before we leave the combat, which is +2/+2 on Storm King as well. So this seems good. I have to find a way to make this a little bit more powerful. Even so, I'm debating. There's a few options for turning an evil character good, and it's potentially worth considering here because of the fact that we've got this pumpkin. So I'm thinking, like, do I want this extra health on the rotten applewood? Would it just be better to turn the Aeon into a good unit? And then I'm also thinking, do I even want good units? And how much I have to consider that. So I'm going to take another 100 attack Storm King, and I'm actually going to keep the Rotten Applewood in. That's really interesting. You can see the life gain mattering a little bit. Okay, I'm able to find a Pigomorph here. And I do go for the Merlin's test, then the Pigomorph. Don't try to weave in the Beauty's influence in the meantime. But I gained at least 3 life off of my Ring of Regeneration. They moved the Echo Wood so that I am unable to snipe it. But I think we're going to be able to take down the Echo Wood here. Yeah. Oh, they've got a Tree of Life. That is really annoying. But we Medusa the Echo Wood. So all of this is really good. Now we Medusa the Baba Yaga, and now this is going to attack into us. We're going to throw away the pumpkin, sure, that's whatever. And then the Storm King can take out the Shoulder Fairies after a few other things die. But still, this is really good. So we hit them for 10, and this is looking certainly possible. This should probably just get cast on the Eon, but I do cast it on the Spellweaver, and I don't think I fully realized the implication of summoning one less thing from the pumpkin right now as well, but that could certainly cost us a little bit. Don't even decide to cast that spell. I'm just like, okay, this spell is not worth the one coin. I know that I'm trying to look for Pigomorph here as well, so I guess that's also partially what's going on. We're going to cast that on the thing in our back line there. And I'm continuing to cast these Beauty's Graces, and I think now is when I just realized this Pumpkin is not going to work. So I'm going to put in the Rotten Applewood, give that a little bit more health, and now I realize I'm just pumping up Rotten Applewood to pump up other things. And then I find a Pigomorph. So I say, okay, with only a few seconds left in the shop, I'm going to stop on Pigomorph, and then I'm just going to roll and see if I can find anything that I will enjoy for the next turn. So my opponent Pigos me. They get my upgraded Storm King. I think I get one of their Shoulder Fairies, and then they take out my Spellweaver. And we do get an upgraded Shoulder Fairy there because it was Ambrosia'd, but these Echo Woods are still pretty big. But we've got the Medusas, so I think we can survive this one. That was a bad hit for us, though. If we'd hit anywhere else, then maybe we could have made that one work, or just at least taken less damage. But we survive at 1, so every health point is certainly useful here. And we've got to figure out how we want to finish this one. What is the last thing that we want to add to our board? Honestly, it's probably a little bit of a mistake that all of our pumpkins are gone. We see another croc. I'm going to hit the Storm King with a croc. Okay, that's interesting. But certainly not out of the realm of possibilities here. And then I can cast It Was All a Dream. That's going to be my last spell. So, yeah, that's certainly an interesting one to end on. I think I should have just rolled a few more times and tried to find another Pigomorph or more impactful spell, because I'm not really sure what I was looking for there. Now, that said, I don't think that this spell would have been any good for us, though. I seem to think that it would be, and I don't know why. Oh, I just lost +3/+3 on all of my units. So now my Medusas don't slay, which is pretty bad. Wow. Okay, a huge dragon hit takes out my entire back line. Let's see what Medusa can do. I no longer have a backline. I no longer even just have a Medusa at this point. So it's going to be really tough to make that work. But we are able to deal with the first Echo Wood and the Shoulder Fairies. But this Echo Wood is going to take me out, and we're going to take a ton of damage here from the cats as well. But I don't think it mattered. I think as soon as their dragon killed my backline Medusa, it meant that we would have no way to deal with their huge Ambrosia'd Echo Wood, and that's going to put me into second place, which is, I think, a little bit of a disappointment for how powerful we were that game. I definitely did make some mistakes. But I don't know, maybe I was thinking I didn't want the Rotten Applewood to have any attack. That is honestly a definite possibility, that I thought that it was worth dreaming just to shrink my Applewood so that way it wouldn't have to attack, because that does make it somewhat significant. But I hadn't cast any spells on the Medusas throughout the course of the game, so they became a little bit weaker. And then, of course, my opponent just had a really nasty dragon snipe, so that was kind of unfortunate. But was still able to get second place in my second tournament game, which is enough to make me, at this point, I'm probably not going to show like the standings at every point, but I'll just, in the post commentary, at this point in the tournament, I'm certainly the lobby leader. None of the other competitors have gotten a first place followed by a second place. And we were the first flight of the day as well. So someone might have done this later on in the tournament or something, gotten like a first. But at this point, as far as my flight, I am looking pretty good, and I'm pretty happy about a second place finish after getting a first. And we'll see where it goes. Well, I already told you I'm going to get 16th place overall in this tournament out of about 100 competitors. So if you want to follow me in the coverage of this tournament, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be uploading a new video from this tournament every day at 9:30 p.m. EST. And then after that, I will still be uploading Storybook Brawl content daily. So make sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to see more. And you can also catch me live at twitch.tv/NoLucksGiven to follow along and cheer me on live. That's going to be it for me for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good one. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.